All right, so I'm going to show you a little bit of what we have going on. This is actually my house. The past couple heavy rains, I started noticing a stain. You can kind of still see some of the stain where we cut out the drywall here, but I really had to open up the wall or the ceiling to see where the leak was coming through. As per usual, it wasn't right at this location. It was running down this, it's hard to see. But it was running down this board basically. But take a look up here and see all that light coming through. That is just where the roof is not meeting the side of the house on the exterior. We'll walk out and take a look. And it isn't noticeable until you actually remove the siding up here. We'll go up here and take a closer look. So I've pulled all the vinyl siding out, but you can see this has some step flashing here all along here. There's a big puncture in this sheathing material. This is like basically 1/8" cardboard, more or less, with a little bit of a water barrier or resistant barrier on the outside. It's really cheap stuff, and I mean, this is just builder grade. This is what you get, and you can get it with, you can get it with production homes, you can get it with custom homes, just depending on what the builder specs out. But it's something to kind of watch for. As you can see, it's really thin. It's hard to even, like, they've nailed the the vinyl siding in it. And I mean, this stuff is like I said, it's like nailing through a cardboard box. You can't even get a nail to stay in here. And then they've, you can try and hit the studs here to try to get to make sure you fasten something down. But big tear right there, and then all this flashing, you can see up at the very top, I've already started to re-flash some of that. Step flashing, no flashing behind the actual step flashing. So we've got a step flashing up against this sheathing, and that's really about it. And you can see this is it's all sealed above the step flashing, but once this stuff starts to dry up and rot and crack and peel away, you've got a big opening down through the side of the roof here, and that's why we can see light through the roof. I also have a pretty good suspicion that this whole section of roof really isn't flush with this wall, or as tight as it should be, because it should take more than just flashing to seal up that big of a gap between the roof and the wall. But once I started tearing into the vinyl siding, getting it off, this is kind of what we ended up with. So I'm gonna reseal all the step flashing the best I can against this sheathing here, this cheap sheathing here, and hopefully sealed up so we don't have any more leaks. But you can tell where I just put some material right here over this. There's a big hole in there, and then again some, it's pretty cracked right there. So that's an entry point for water. And then just all along here, all the way up, you can see how big of a gap there is between that flashing and the wall. So we're gonna seal it the best I can. I really can't put any type of membrane or anything else under this step flashing without obviously pulling these shingles. So we're gonna leave it as is for right now. But really, once I pulled this vinyl siding back and saw what I see here, I was really surprised that we weren't having more of a water intrusion issue than we were. Just in one little spot, it started to run down this down this section here, it was dripping way up close to the top, and then coming all the way down on one of the truss members, and then dropping down right about here into the ceiling. But yeah, so this is just kind of what you get with cheap building material. Granted, this home's 25 years old. Really hasn't had any issues since then. We've had some pretty heavy rains and some pretty strong winds and storms. So I will give it, it's held up. But at the end of the day, you know, this is just not correct. And especially sealing at the top, they could have glued this to this flashing, at least glued it all the way to this to the sheathing, and it's just kind of halfway sealed on top of here. You can see I can pull this back. So once water's behind the vinyl siding, it's game to get it all the way down through there and into the house. So we're gonna scrape the rest of this off here, and like I said, just kind of go through it and reseal everything. But unfortunately, that's just how it was. That's just how it was done. But again, luckily, no more water damage than that. Everything else under there and in the attic space looks pretty dry. So just kind of want to show you guys what I discovered, and this is pretty common in the construction industry, especially production homes. Just, you know, cheap material, poor job of flashing, and then you know, starting to see water intrusion after you know, several years. So granted, it's been quite a while and it's held up. It's also been under this soffit, which I assume has helped a bit protect it, because it's really going to be more wind-driven rain that kind of gets up in this area underneath the soffit. But still, just a really poor job of sealing this flashing up. If they were just going to use the step flashing, you know, should have been glued all the way down and sealed correctly. That's it for now. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the rest of this all down this line, and then follow up afterwards. Thanks, guys.